Why you cannot reach the?
I cannot reach 300 words.
Okay, I will show you later the suggested answer lah. So um, I saw that no one of you write or have any problem with any questions, right? Because I said if you please jot down the question that you don't know in the WhatsApp, all of you can answer.
No.
Noel and Farah?
I thought we discussed the question here.
Yeah, because I asked you guys to answer it first, right? And then I asked you guys to put the questions that you really don't know how to answer in our WhatsApp. So you haven't answered, Kelvin?
I only answer a few. The sign I haven't done the long one. The
Oh,
scientific.
only the 300 words lah you didn't answer.
Yeah.
Oh, that means you all
No,
can
no.
understand. Oh,
The 300 words, and then what the buses.
the what? Buses?
Nah, never mind. I don't think I didn't answer that much.
Okay. So Noel, he said he answered almost all. Wow, wow, wow. Congratulations, Noel. Farah, how about you? Ah, almost all cannot answer. Ayo, I thought almost all can answer.
Quite hard.
Yeah,
This subject quite hard.
actually can read from other like the lecture note, but I think for me not enough time to like really read it properly.
Yeah, COA ni it's I can say lah it is a killer subject because not all in the notes. I also have to search anywhere in the internet. I am also like you guys, huh? Because I also will need to study how it can become like that. Because although I have studied COA last time during my degree, but of course it was about 13 years ago. Then of course,
Yeah, very long
yeah,
time.
yeah. So because our notes can it is actually prepared by KL, and I don't know why it is like that. It is very general, right? You cannot you really cannot depend on our lecture note. Okay, so Noel said the assembly language syllabus makes me forget previous syllabus. Yeah, because you all did well in your assembly language, kan? You have to focus on the assembly language. Okay, so it's okay. Mm, okay, so chapter one we have answered all, right? And then we
This
left.
this question this exam, will it be handwritten or Google Form?
It is the question that was asked by Farrell last time. So the CC said it is depends on the lecturer lah, meaning me lah. And then for me, I think I will prefer whatever the student prefer. Okay, so if you prefer writing, use handwriting is better, then go ahead with the handwriting lah, handwritten. For me, I will accept all as long as you all can write it and then show it or pass it digitally to me. Digitally meaning in soft copy lah. You can write it in your notepad or in any A4 paper, and then you screenshot it, and then you copy paste in a Google Doc also can. Okay, because some of the calculation is very hard. It will be time consuming to be wrote on a Google Doc kan. Yeah, so it is depends on you. So which do you guys prefer? Which way? Handwritten or Google Doc or hybrid?
Hybrid.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, so you can do both lah. Okay, so I know that you guys are just finish your class, which is actually also quite a tough sub course also lah, right? With Miss Tang.
Yeah.
Programming lah, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so before we start, I think I will show you guys one video that telling about. I think I have shown you this previously in our class, but of course lah, like Noel said, you are too focused on the assembly syllabus kan. Okay, so of course this one I think you already forgotten lah. Okay, so I will show this. So this is a video that is really related to chapter 3, which is the very famous questions in our past year questions. Which is this one. Wait, I oh, I'm presenting all this while.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is actually the questions. Like I think it is a very famous questions lah. It is actually in chapter 3. Not this one. This one. The very famous questions. I think this kind of questions. Do you guys agree? Because we see this a lot in the chapter 3 and 4 past year questions, right? These questions. So any of you can answer these kind of questions? Can Kanwel?
Maybe the first two lines only lah.
The first two line.
The one that answers PC to MAR, the MDR to IR. That's all. That's all I can do lah.
Oh, this one you can do lah.
Yeah, just two lines.
Oh, these two lines. Or only these two lines. MAR, PC to MAR, and then MDR to IR. This one you understand lah.
Yeah.
The rest you don't understand.
No.
Okay, so that's why I want you guys to watch the video. I already pasted the link in our chat, Google Meet. You watch that first lah.
Okay.
Take the contents of variable x, add y, and store the result in z. If I was going to write something similar in an assembly language, I would need more commands. I need to think about the accumulator. So what we're saying here is load the contents of memory location 10 into the accumulator. Add the contents of memory location 11 to whatever's in the accumulator, and then store whatever's in the accumulator back into location 12. Referring to memory addresses by numbers is called direct addressing. Some assembly languages will allow you to use what's called symbolic addresses. So for example, I might say load x, add y, store z. That depends on the language. Once my assembly language source code has been turned into machine code, specifically once it's been assembled, it might look something more like this. You can see here we're using 6 bits for the operation code and 10 bits for the operand address. You might find something like this in a very old 16-bit machine. Now let's think about the registers inside the CPU. The blue box shows the CPU, and we can see inside there we've got a control unit, we have the accumulator, and the arithmetic and logic unit. We've also got some other registers, the program counter, the current instruction register, the memory address register, and the memory data register. And we're going to take a look at how these different registers cooperate to run the program. You can see on the right hand side I've got the memory, and the program has already been stored in memory. Now I think we need to take a reality check at this stage. First of all, the accumulator is actually a register which is part of the arithmetic and logic unit. But for the purposes of this demonstration, we've separated them. Secondly, the program wouldn't be stored as assembly code as shown here. It would be the machine code that's inside the RAM. The memory addresses themselves would also be in binary. And to tell you the truth, we'd be numbering from the bottom up. But for the sake of this presentation, we've distorted the reality a little bit. So what happens when a program runs? To begin with, the program counter stores the address of the next instruction to be fetched. In this case, the first instruction, which you can see is in memory location 100. Before we can fetch the instruction from the RAM, that memory address has to be placed into the memory address register. Once this has happened, the contents of that memory address can then be loaded into the memory data register. So we're fetching the first instruction now. Next, that instruction needs to be placed inside the current instruction register. Once it's been fetched into the current instruction register, the program counter will increment by 1. So the program counter is always pointing to the memory address of the next instruction to be fetched, before we've even executed this one. Now we can decode the instruction. And without going into detail, the control unit comes into play and it opens various pathways. The next stage in the process is to execute that instruction. The instruction is load 10. In other words, load the contents of memory address 10. So we're going to fetch something from memory address 10. So memory address location 10 now goes into the memory address register. Then we can take the contents of memory location 10 and place that into the memory data register, overwriting its previous contents. And then the contents of that memory address can be placed into the accumulator. That's the first instruction executed. Now we're going to fetch the next instruction. The program counter is already pointing to the memory address of the next instruction, so that memory address can be copied from the program counter into the memory address register. We can then take the contents of that memory location and put it into the memory data register. Now it will move into the current instruction register, ready to be decoded. But before we do that, we increment the program counter, so it's pointing to the next instruction. Okay, so it's time to decode this instruction. So add 11 is passed to the control unit, various pathways are opened, and the control unit makes sense of the instruction. So this instruction says add the contents of memory location 11 to whatever's in the accumulator. So this is where the arithmetic and logic unit really comes into play. An add instruction is passed to the ALU. The contents of the accumulator are moved to another place ready to be worked with. Now we can get the contents of memory location 11, and because we're going to fetch something from the memory, that memory address has to be placed into the memory address register. Once that's happened, we can get the contents of that memory location and place it into the memory data register. You're probably starting to see what the memory address register and the memory data register do. Whenever we want to get something from the RAM, or move something into the RAM, as we'll see in a moment, we must put its memory address into the memory address register. Whenever data, or a program instruction, moves to or from the RAM, it goes via the memory data register. So we have our number 3. That gets placed into the accumulator, and then the arithmetic and logic unit will add that to the 2 that we originally had and place the result back into the accumulator. So we're keeping a running total. It's accumulating the result. It might be worth mentioning at this stage that the circuits inside the arithmetic and logic unit are called adder circuits. They're actually very simple. The truth is, a computer is just a very sophisticated adding machine. Okay, so now we're ready to get the next instruction, which is in location 102. So the memory location 102 is copied into the memory address register. The contents of that memory location, in this case the last instruction, are copied into the memory data register. This instruction moves into the current instruction register. You can probably see what's going to happen next. We increment the program counter. We would probably have a stop or a halt instruction in that position. Now we can decode that instruction, which basically says store the result in the accumulator back into location 12. We're going to put something into location 12, so that memory address must be put into the memory address register, and the contents of the accumulator move via the memory data register into that memory location. And that's our program complete.
Okay, so finish already, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the video just now is telling us the process of fetch, decode, and execute cycle. So in our lecture 3, it already tell the process in the load, add, and store. So you can see here there are some process that are repeating. When we want to load, first we need to get our program counter to move or to move the value or not the value, the address of the memory to MAR. So this is the first process, and then this one until here is like a standard process. If you can see here, PC to MAR, PC to MAR, PC to MAR. Dash. Okay, so 3. Ad blocker extension. How? Oh, just using Chrome lah. Chrome. Beta. Extension. Later lah.
Okay.
Okay.
But where did how we I actually have installed extension previously, but I always forgot how to go there.
I think near the correct button.
This one.
Yeah, the right one.
Puzzle.
No, this is actually all of the extension that I have already installed. Kan? Setting extension.
She did. She hasn't
This one.
download any that block.
Pardon?
That block need to download one.
Oh, need to download.
Yeah.
You're right. Ad blocker. Ad blocker.
Not.
Oh, it is not a Chrome extension.
It is, but have to go to the store.
Yeah, the Chrome store.
Click the
Chrome Store. Chrome Store.
down there got open Chrome Web Store.
Pada Noel?
Bottom left.
Bottom left. Oh, okay.
Then
Well, you are millennial kan? Okay, so add block.
right.
Add blocker. So any can any
Yeah.
this one free lah, right?
Right.
Wait, I will see. Okay, this one. This one is the most downloaded, so I think this one lah. Usually I watch YouTube, but for educational purpose. So that's why I mean that means I will be really watch YouTube for any lah, except for educational. So that's why I didn't really explore. There's a software like this, install?
Install already.
Not yet. Already lah. Okay, so we try it out. Okay. So here is the process. Okay, PC to MAR is the process. Memang the first process when we are in the fetch, decode, execute cycle. So that's why it is static way. PC to MAR. That's why here PC to MAR, and then MDR to IR. Whatever MAR, there will be MDR, because MAR and MDR is come in pair, because this both are memory address, and then this is memory data. So MAR holding the address of the memory, like this one, this one MR value is 300, so this is the address. MDR meaning memory data, so it will hold the data of MAR. Okay, so MAR and MDR will always come in pair. Okay, so that's why if MAR holding 300, meaning MDR will hold the value inside this address. Okay, so after,
Register. So we're fetching the first instruction now. Next, that instruction needs to be placed
after that
inside the
MDR
code's
to
instruction
IR.
register.
Okay, so MDR to IR. After we get the value of MAR, MDR will automatically get the value of MAR. So in this case, MAR is 100, right? So the value of MAR will be load 10. So that's why MDR is load 10. After that, MDR will move the value or copy the value of MDR to IR. But in here, in this case, is CIR lah. So that's why it is like this. MDR to IR. Okay, so the PC ni, this one is actually, it doesn't necessarily to be the third step. It can be also the last step lah. In this case, in this video,
It's being fetched into the current instruction register. The program counter will increment by 1.
Okay, so
So
in
the
this
program-
case, in this video, so the PC, the implementation of the PC program counter is the third step lah. So it is similar with this. And then after that, the IR, this meaning that this what instruction is telling that to get the address of whatever in the IR. So in the IR, for example, in IR now it is this one, right? The value of 300 memory location is 1940. And then this process will telling that to extract the location in this instruction. Okay, the location in this instruction. Okay, the IR, I mean, this value actually, what is holded in this 300 memory is an instruction. Instruction, for example, this one, 1940. So I will indicate load. 940 will indicate the location of this instruction, meaning load the value of 940. Okay, so this instruction telling load the value. Wait. Okay. This instruction telling that this is load, right? And then load the value of a memory. Sorry, this is actually the location of memory, and then meaning we want to load the value of 940, meaning the content of 940 to an accumulator. If you remember just now, there are something in the first, this one.
Think about the accumulator. If I would get around that, take the contents of variable x, add y, stored as an assembly language, I would need more commands. I need to think about the accumulator. So what we're saying here is load the contents of memory location 10 into the accumulator. Add the contents of memory location 11 to whatever's in the accumulator, and then store whatever's in the accumulator back into location 12.
Okay, so remember, if it says a load, add, and store, and there's a memory location here, meaning this one load the content of 10 to accumulator, add the content of 11 to accumulator, and then store, meaning you store whatever in the accumulator in this location 12. Okay, so in here it says that for in this location it's containing instruction. This instructions is load instruction. Load instruction is indicated by 1, and then the rest will be its memory location. So load 940, I mean the content, load the content of location 940 to accumulator. Okay, so this instruction meaning is load the content of 940 to accumulator. So here, this one, add whatever in the accumulator with the content of 941. So this one, we store any value in the accumulator in the location of 941. Okay, so the process is, in this process, it like extracting the memory location from the instruction. Okay, so we know that IR is containing this one, but this value is not telling, because this this instruction is containing instruction which is load, one is load, and then the memory. But we don't want the instruction code, we only want the memory. So this process is the process of extracting the memory location from the IR. Okay, so that's why in the MAR now, meaning this one is extracting the memory location from the IR content and then put it in the MAR. So that's why MAR now is 940, meaning we only extract this one. After that, this is the only process that is different from load, add, and store, which is the step 5. Okay, so the step 5 for load, it will make whatever in the MDR, it will be moved to accumulator. So the final result for the load is the content in the accumulator, which is 003. And then another things that I want to highlight is in the memory, in our memory RAM. Okay, so we don't only store any data, but we also store any instruction. So that's why there's a part in the memory that all storing the instruction, and then there are also a part in the memory that store a data. So in this case, first, yang ini memang the step sudah don't because it is the step in the fetch, execute, and decode of apa tu processor. So first, memang program counter will put any address to MAR first to indicate that we want to execute the process inside this location. Okay, so MAR will get the location, MDR will take the value of the location in the MAR and put it in the IR. Okay, so program counter will increase to 1 so that we know that the next process will be at the process of this one, 301. And then this process will get the address of the instruction inside the IR. So that, and then it will put in the MAR. Okay, so that's why we get the location here, only the location. And then after that, because we know that it is it is 1, so 1 is indicate load. So that's why the load instruction will need MDR to move the data to accumulator. So that is load. Actually, either it is 1K or 5K or 2 here. It is not fixed. It is based on the processor itself. It doesn't really mean that 1 is for load, 5 is for add, 2 is for store, because it will depends on the memory lah. In the processor. It is depends on the processor. But don't worry, because in any question it will tell the process here. Okay, you can see here it says that load is 21. So in this case, load, the code for load is 21, add is 41, subtract is 61, and then store will be at T1. Okay, so in here, we know that in the memory there are two parts, which is one saving or storing a location, a value or a data. Okay, so location 10 until 12 storing the data, and then location 2000 until 2006 is storing instruction. Okay, so in the instruction it will contain the instruction code and then the address of the instruction. Okay, so like this, it means that load content of 10 to accumulator. So this one add the content of 12 with the value in the accumulator. So this one subtract the value of accumulator with the content of 11, meaning the content of 11 is 9 lah. Okay, so meaning for this load, it will load the value of 10, which is the accumulator now will containing 12. So add meaning you will add whatever in the accumulator. In this case, in the accumulator is 12. Okay, so you add with the content inside 12. So content inside 12 is 4. So add letter should it will add this lah, 12 plus 2. Okay, so subtract, will subtract whatever in the accumulator with the with 11, the content in the 11. Okay, so don't ask why this is, this is why PC, if you see here, this is the sorry, this one is instruction 2000. Instruction 2000 meaning load. Okay, so load instruction 2004 subtract load subtract and 2006 is store. So load adds store. Each of it having the same process. Okay, so this is the process, the standard process of fetching, decode, and PC to MR, MDR to IR address to MAR, and then program counter. But in this case, program counter it is at the last step lah. Usually in our previous example, it is before the last instruction. So the only difference between all of these instruction is it's kind of like the step number 4. For this one, the step number 4 for subtract is the accumulator will subtract the value in the MDR. For the load, accumulator will get the value of MDR. And then for the store, whatever in the accumulator will be stored in the MDR. Okay, so the only difference is this step. In this case, the third step lah. All of these will have the same process. The same process. Okay. Are you still with me? Are still following?
Yeah.
Okay, so what part you don't really understand after the long explanation? Okay, Kak Kelvin, Noel, and Farah.
Why the PC plus 2 again?
Okay. So why PC plus 2, right? Not plus 1. So if you see here, the difference between each of the instruction location here is 2. So that's why we plus 2. In this example, each of here, the difference is only 1. So just plus just follow whatever the difference between one memory location to another memory location lah. Okay, Noel?
The memory can like plus 2 or something. Only plus 1.
Pardon? I cannot.
The memory, the like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 also can in memory. Also
2, 4,
exists.
6, 8.
Yeah, like plus 2. Because I thought memory.
Actually, okay. You talk first.
Memory can usually like plus 1, like 200, 2000, 2001, 2002, like that. If
the real address, how it looks like.
yeah.
Actually, the real address, it will not be like this lah, but it will be stored. Remember, whatever stored in the database is 101010 saja. 010101. Okay, so if this one, of course, it will be converted to binary. But if we put the binary here, habislah. We cannot understand. Okay. So actually, all of this memory will be 010101. If you see in our ni, nah ni, it usually all of this will be stored in the binary. So this is how it looks like for the 16-bit processor. So yeah, so it will be in binary, not in like this lah. Okay, so
Why A becomes 0D?
pardon,
Why
YA?
A equals 0D?
YA equal to 0. Which one?
The second
Which
part. The second part there, there.
the ni
The A equals 0D there.
A equal to 0D. This one.
Yeah.
Okay. So we first this one it started with the program counter 2000. So it will load uh, it will load 2000, the value in the 2000 to the accumulator first. So the value in the 2000 will be 12. Okay, so we know that in the accumulator because it is already performing load. So in the accumulator, the value will be 12 because here in this sorry yeah, in this memory it started with 2000, right? So we start with here first. First PC will copy because PC is 200 2000 and then MAR will get this lah to 2000 and then MDR will get the value of 2000 which is 2110. Okay, so actually this is either you put all the value 2110 or you only put the location, the name of the I mean the location of the IR here. Sorry, the location of the instruction. Okay, so after that, okay, so in short, we know that A is 12 lah based on the operation here. So the this one 2004 is subtract. Okay, subtract. Okay, so subtract meaning whatever in the accumulator, which is 12, will subtract with 09. Okay, so we calculate first now. A just now is 12. Wait, actually, I already calculated this, but using my notebook. So, A minus whatever in the MDR 09. So, A 12. 12. minus wait, I calculate first because this cannot be seen if we didn't calculate it one by one.
Okay.
But can you please, yeah, can you guys please do these questions first without looking at my answer? But please do question number one first. Can?
Okay.
By
Oh, okay.
following I will not show this lah. Okay, so please answer question number one first. I will answer question number two. So so follow the notes lah. I will give about 5 to 10 minutes.
Never mind. I already understand.
Yes, Kelvin, you already know.
I understand already.
So how?
You just
Can you
9,
please? Yes.
just do 12 and then plus 4 and then minus 9.
12 plus 4 minus 9.
Yeah, like that.
How it can plus 4?
Because you need to execute 2002 first, and then need to and then can go 2004.
Yes. Because it is directly as 2004, right? 2002 is not, yeah, you are correct. Okay, so load, add, subtract, and store, meaning all of this process will be apa tu berturut-turut, consequence in sequence. So the process in 2002 it will get beta. How do you get what is the value in the 2002? Because I will need to calculate for me.
4.
Have you calculated it? 4.
Yeah, 04.
Beta, how it get 4? Because 2000 meaning 10, value of 10, add with value of 12. Or whatever in the accumulator will add with 12. Oh, okay, so that's why it is 4. Okay. So Noel and Farah, can you understand what we have discussed with Kelvin?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So if like that, please continue to answer questions number 3, the store. This one get answer ka? What I give you is have this answer.
You already gave the answer.
Yeah, already gave the answer.
Okay lah. But you all understand lah how to get it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can proceed lah from this question kan.
Okay.
Okay, so if like that, we can proceed
The
to yes.
the 2006, the A. Why the A is oh never mind.
Okay, I will let you think first. Okay, so because that question is very famous question, that's why I want you guys to pay attention to it lah. That's why I want to discuss that with you all. So I hope whatever the process is, although it changed the question a little bit later, you guys can understand lah. Since you can refer to the video again if you forgot the step PCR to MAR lah. Okay, PCR lah pula. PC to MAR lah or NDR to IR lah. Okay, so you watch that video again lah. Okay, so all of the question usually will only cover this load, add, subtract, and store. In our notes, there are no subtract, only 3. Okay, so if later you found a question that is subtract, that need to subtract, so you refer back to our past year questions lah. Because we don't know, if you just refer to the notes, we don't know what is the process of subtract. We don't know either A minus MDR or MDR minus A. Okay, so actually subtract is accumulator minus any value in the MDR.
Oh.
Okay, so I hope
Take the
later
contents of variable
you
x.
all said you understand kan here, but I think you all understand lah. Okay, so like this, it only like this. It also asks about add, subtract, and store. So subtract kan we don't have it in our notes. So refer to our this PQR lah. So I will share also all of this answer because what I gave you previously is incomplete kan. So I will give all of the value, all of the answer, the PQR that is complete with the completed answer. Okay, so this one also add, subtract, and store. Okay, so for something like the 300 words. Okay, so Kelvin, this is how you can get 300 words. I know for these questions kan in our notes we only have this, right? Have you checked?
Exam got time to write so much, man.
Yeah, I don't know because only 2020 type of questions will ask for some kind of essay type of questions like here. Because I think because it is online. So I think most probably your FOA letter also have this kind of questions because previous year and this year still online. So I think this is the type of online questions where you need to explain, and then this explanation we don't have in our lecture. I already checked lah.
So long.
Yeah, so
I skip this question first and then do other thing.
yes. Yeah. It is the tips. When you are in FOA, you need to glance through all of the questions first. And then if you glance through, you pick whichever the easiest, you know the where first. After that, baru you go back to the hardest part. Okay, so remember that tips lah because I have also previously in the test with the previous, I mean with another students lah. The test have 4 questions, and then questions 1 and 4 actually easy questions. It just ask the opinion, and then questions 2 and 3 is the hard question because it is based on scenario. It needs the student to think. It is not in the slide lah. Actually, it is in the slide, but it will be wrong if they don't understand the scenario carefully lah. But most of them left out questions number 4 because they're too focused on 2 and 3. Even though the questions 4, it is just a very simple, and then they lose a lot of mark. It is with my another student lah. So that's why I said it is the tips that if you get the FOA questions, glance through first and then answer whichever you think easiest. You know the most lah. Okay, so for this kind of questions, in our notes we only have this. Okay, memory hierarchy. We only have this.
How many marks are in exam are this?
Wait, so much You see here? 6 only.
Only 6. I can skip.
Don't. You can skip if the question only 3 already high itu. Okay, and then these 6 marks you also see this macam sedikit saja, but actually it contribute a lot gitu. So try to answer lah. Actually, it doesn't mean you to. It don't need to. It is not necessary for you to have a really long answer. As long as you state the point. Macam here kan? I don't know because in our slide we only have this, so it is based on how your interpretation about this. Okay, so whatever you understand lah. Okay, so the question asks, relate the data access speed of a processor to the cost and the storage size of a different type of memory based on memory hierarchy. So we know that this is the hierarchy that is already stated in our slide, in our notes. And then, any of you can answer this or have tried to answer this? Can you share what you answer?
This one kah?
Yeah.
Just read only.
Wait.
For me, I didn't do that.
You didn't do because you don't know lah.
Yeah, I don't know like what's the correct format for answering that one.
I see 300 one.
Takut terus. Noel, how?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw 300 words. Then like, oh, is this need to be like long or just need a point? I don't know lah.
I think the 300 word is just the maximum. As long as you can answer, because only six, right? Only six marks. Only 6 marks. Okay. So, Nadmi, 300 words limit, not minimum. Okay, why they put words limit here? Because I heard that some of the CC or some of the examiner, they have they found a student that answer this kind of questions until two what 2 pages.
You got
Wow,
time to do some. I got time to write so many things.
Yeah. This is what I heard from the very experienced lecturer to teach this kind of questions. Okay, I don't know what the student wrote lah, but that's why they put words limit here. So it doesn't mean that you need to reach 300. It just to say that don't over this limit because only 6 mark and then the examiner need to read all of the 2 pages answer. So it is like wasting time lah. You wrote a lot, but the mark only 6. Okay, so as long as you can relate, because this is 6 marks, so you can say that it has 3 points. 1 point, 2 marks. Okay, so as long as you can relate, for example, like this, the data access speed is the highest when in the hierarchy is, in this hierarchy, the top memory type here will have the highest data access speed. Okay, so as long as you can state the point and you explain a little bit only, you explain on with another sentence. This, for example, this point kan, you only have 2 sentences. Okay, you get the mark already. Okay, so for this one also, the cost of memory is the highest at the top of memory hierarchy. Meaning, semakin tinggi here, when it is at the top, the memory type in the top here will cost the highest. Meaning, this is cheaper, this is expensive, and then this is the very expensive one. Paling mahal at the top, paling tinggi dia punya speed at the top, and then the storage size is the lowest also at the top. Okay, so in these questions, in this answer, you can say that whatever in the top, it has the highest data access speed, it costs the highest or it costs a lot. The expensive, the one that paling expensive, it is also at the top, and then but it has the lowest storage size. Okay, so as long as you have something like this, so I think I will need to explain lah. I think I already explained last time, but I also don't really remember. And then okay, so this all of the memory at the bottom is usually the memory that cheapest, but it can hold the largest. It can store its storage is the largest. And then yang the example is like, if you guys can see, magnetic tape, and then offline storage is like um, your external hard disk tu lah. Okay, so it usually external hard disk, or no, not external hard disk lah, HDD also considered as this in this apa. Okay, after that, magnetic disk. For example, the CD-ROM, all of the CD lah, or and the DVD. So this is what we call as outboard storage. So it is cheaper, but only the storage is not so big lah. So tengok, because this can hold the highest storage kan, so dia punya space pun besar, meaning at the bottom it is large, meaning the storage is large. And then at the top, the example is like CD. It is a cheaper also, but it cannot hold so much storage lah. And then inbound memory. So the example is like the registers, the cache. Do you remember the L1, L2, L3? It is nearer to the CPU. Macam semakin dekat the memory to the CPU, the cost will be higher, the speed will be higher, but the storage will be lesser. Okay, can understand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that is what these questions wants. Okay, so remember 300 words, it's not your minimum words, it's just words limit. So don't over 300 words, because it is hard to mark if the questions only has 6 marks. I mean, it has small mark kan. Tidak, it is not worth for you to write until 2 pages for just 6 marks lah. Okay, so for this one, in your opinion, so this is actually asking for your opinion. So have any one of you answer these questions?
I got, I think.
Okay, so what is your opinion?
Where my answer?
You can paste it in our chat lah.
Not sure. Yeah, post.
Okay. Wow, this one has 10 marks. Okay, so for this one, you can write up until 300 words lah. If you have that, if you want. Okay, so your answer is
Very short one.
seems like a lot juga nih, Beta. Maybe because it is in our chat kan, so it looks like a lot. How about Noel and Farah? Have you answered this?
No, sir.
Okay, Farah?
Yeah, same with Noel.
Okay, so you are adult. I will not force you guys, but I hope during later the revision time you really take a look at these past year questions, because usually the form of the question will be similar. You can see kan in my compilation, each year the questions is almost the same, and yeah, so you can get familiar with each of the questions lah, because the questions is not included I mean, in our lecture, you cannot just refer to the lecture because in our lecture cannot be tidak boleh harap. I can say our lecture tidak boleh harap. Okay, so Kelvin answer is the embedded system, mobile phones or tablet will perform slower due to the instruction taking more clock cycle caused by the complex and variable length instruction. The device also need to be larger to accommodate the larger number of transistors required in CISC architecture. Okay, so the device will also need to consume more power using CISC architecture, so the battery life will become shorter. Okay, so CISC will use RAM more efficiently than RISC. Okay, so yeah, if you answer like this, I will give each point 1 mark. 2 mark, 2 mark.
Only
Okay,
one.
so two. Sorry, because it is 10 kan. So at least not at least lah. You can give me 5 point for 10 marks. Okay, so I will for your answer, Beta. I will check how many points you have. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's like 4, right? So I will give you 8 marks for this this kind of answer.
Miss,
Yes.
this one can be answered by like in a point form or
Yeah.
need like full sentence like that.
I think full sentence better lah because if you just this is a marking scheme. If you guys can see here, kan, this is a marking scheme. Of course, it is in point because it is will be referred by a lecturer. So because this is using your opinion, so your words will be different from student to student. So that's why we only step the main point here. So as long as the student answer is relevant and it is around this answer, around this point, it is has a relation with this any of this point, then we can give a mark lah. Okay, so it is better if 1 point you can explain in 2 sentences. One stated the point, and then another sentence, the second sentence is to explain a little bit about your point.
Oh, okay. You mean like justify my answer like that lah?
Justify
okay.
or explain your point. For example, like this kan consists of many instructions that not frequently used. Okay, so you can say that CISC consists of many instructions that are not frequently used. Does blah blah blah. Okay. So it will also require additional complex software. Does in the mobile phones or tablet, it is not really, it will increase the size of the mobile phone or tablet, something like that. Okay, so as long as your answer, this is suggested answer, but if you have any other relevant answer, also can be accepted.
Okay.
So like this, it says here, this is an open-ended question. The candidate may answer based on the following points. May meaning you may answer like this, or you also may not answer like this. But as long as it is relevant, then can be accepted. But remember, explain. Don't just put point like this. This is for lecturer to see, to mark here.
Okay. Understand.
Okay, so after that, I think which questions that you want to see the most the answer? You guys want to see the most because if we go through each of the question, of course we will not sempat siap until 1:30 lah. Which Kelvin?
The chapter 1, 2, the calculation one.
Oh, the chapter 2 kan? Okay.
because they're all so many scenario. I'm not sure if I can my answer correct or not if I want to do.
Okay. So Noel and Farrell, we proceed to the chapter 1 and 2 to lah, right?
Okay, okay.
Okay, so for this one, actually this week I also just sempat to study all of the chapter 3 and 4 lah. This chapter 2 I forgot already to study, but
The
it's okay.
calculation also very long, and then
Yeah.
if I wrong something, everything all the marks are already gone like that.
Actually, I will answer. I will share this letter, but maybe we can see one of the example here. Which question, Because here kan, all of here, I don't know which question that I gave the answer previously, which question I didn't give.
The answer, most of them don't have answer lah. From 2020 GHI from G onwards, there's no answer.
Okay. So I have the copy of that also lah. I will refer to it lah. This is answer, selected answer, which one? Okay, this is the selected. But you have tried lah, Kelvin. You have tried to answer this lah. Which question? Okay, this one has already answered. I already give the answer. I, oh, okay. So most of it is this one lah, right? 2008. So the question that I already give the answer, you can understand lah.
Yeah, we already did practice, right? We already practiced for the
You
earlier
already
one.
practiced lah.
The normal calculation, those
Oh yeah, right.
we already practiced.
Yeah. For chapter 1, we already this one. Most of the chapter 2 lah, right? I already give answer for this. Okay, so this one, differentiate between the storage of the signed and unsigned integer of -50 in the computer memory. So this one you already answered.
I just said cannot use cannot write -50 with unsigned.
Oh, okay. So how about Noel and Farah?
I didn't answer.
Okay, Farah.
Sorry, what's the question?
Did you answer these questions? This one.
Oh,
Differentiate between the storage.
this one no.
Okay, so Kelvin Meta.
Cannot do unsigned, right? With -15, -50.
Actually, wait, this is can actually because it didn't specify which how this either it is 32 ka 16 ka type of processor kan. So if it
But
is
how do you
16
do
processor,
how do you do negative if it's unsigned? I thought unsigned all
by
positive, all positive integer only.
differentiate between the storage of signed and unsigned integer. Storage of signed and unsigned. It asking about storage.
Nah, I don't know how to answer.
Okay, it's okay. So this is why we have this discussion. Wait, I'm looking for the answer. This is 2020 punya question. So it is actually asking about how you store -50 using -50 uh, in in the memory. Either it has a difference between unsigned and uh, signed integer, but yeah, of course lah, unsigned integer will not have -50 kan, like what you said. You mean we cannot store we cannot store -50.
I think so. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about my answer.
Okay.
This question very weird one.
Okay. Wait, Okay, so this is the suggested answer. So it has 5 marks. 5 marks. So I think you all can see.
Yeah, can.
Okay, so this is first it asks about the differentiation, how we store this -50 in the memory. So it says that there are no difference in terms of storing the value of -50 in the memory. The difference is lay in the definition of the programmer. Okay, so in the memory it is all. There are no difference lah. -50 will be stored still in the binary. Okay, so either it is signed or unsigned, it still be stored in binary 0 and 1. There's no difference, but in the difference is the based on the definition of the programmer lah. Okay, so like this, if -50 is initialized as unsigned integer, so it will be stored as this number in the memory, but program will treat the value as decimal value of 206 because this is unsigned kan. So yeah. Okay, so if this is initialized as signed integer, meaning when you code this in the assembly language using as word, I don't know if 50 is in size of word or quad word lah, but kan there's a difference when we want to declare signed and unsigned. Usually signed will be like as word, and then in unsigned it will be word. Okay, so um, if -50 is initialized as signed integer, it will be stored as this one, as 2 complement representation in the memory. Okay, so the program will treat the value as decimal value of -50. Okay, so yeah, in like you said just now lah, in unsigned integer, -50 there are no -50 in unsigned. So if you declare in your assembly language like to okay, value sorry x as word sorry s and then word -50. Okay, so it will store in the database, in the memory like this. But since this, if you convert to decimal, it will become like this because you initialize it as unsigned. So it will not store as this, but it will be stored this lah because if you convert this to decimal, it will become this.
Miss, the first sentence,
Yes,
the first
the first
paragraph,
sentence. This one.
the programmer. That one refers to the person or the program.
The programmer, meaning the person. When you first, when you are declaring a variable in your assembly language. Okay, so I forgot already. Actually, the how Noel, how you declare a variable that containing -50? I only remember. Is it like this, Beta? I actually very bad in remembering, especially syntax. Whenever, even though I am a programmer, sometimes because this assembly language is not something that I use usually, so that's why I will forget the syntax. I will refer to any internet for the syntax. Is it like this? Word -5 and then x oh, the name of the variable kan variable x with it is something like that, right? The
Yeah,
syntax.
something like that.
Okay, so this is the name of the variable. This is the size of this value. Okay, so if you store, that's why it says it is the difference in terms of definition of the programmer. Meaning, when it is only difference when the programmer declare it in the code. Okay, so if you declare it like this, so it still be stored. Can be stored in the memory, but the process will be different because it will store this as as it will convert it in this binary, but it will be wrong lah because the process of converting this negative number, but using unsigned formula or using word will produce different value of binary. Okay, so that's why it is very important for the programmer know well either to use as word or word.
Oh,
The exam will also ask us to write code also. The assembly code.
Assembly code. I think in another chapter, but I haven't compiled yet. I think ada sedikit because I saw some code, but I only have time to compile up until chapter 4 kan. I don't know because there's another, but I haven't compiled. But we see lah. This is the questions. So I only have compiled up until questions 2. So questions 3, it is like this. I think, okay, most of it. Okay, see, so this one is okay lah, just theory lah. But for this one, it is not a programming lah. It is just like this one. Okay, but I will try to compile the questions. I mean, another chapter after this. I will and then give to you all. Okay, so this is copy of examination. Oh yeah, in the chapter in the question 4 we have a little bit, but it is I think maybe Noel expert lah in this, right? Never mind, I will compile this and then give the answer. And then if you don't understand, you you can still ask me during week 15 because week 15 we don't have any class, right? And then your exam will be for May. Kan? Are you aware that your exam is in for May?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
I think my most difficult, my most troublesome is the coding part for me.
Coding this one, right?
Yeah, this part. Yeah.
Okay. So I will try to help as much as I can lah for this lah because I am also worried that you all cannot answer this FOA correctly because I know in the notes in whatever what we learned previously, it is not as deep as the FOA. Okay, so for the next question, I will compile. I hope I can give you letters by this week or this Friday. Okay, so you all can still ask me lah during the revision time. If I don't know, I will ask another lecturer. But make sure you also have done your revision lah. Don't only before you ask me, you try first. Because you will not understand if you didn't do it yourself. Okay, so now we proceed to question, what question lagi ya? Because we haven't finished this one. This one, right? Okay, so we already finished this. Okay, so for this one, this is already have the answer lah. You guys can understand this one lah. Farah and Noel, most of the question you didn't answer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why you don't apa. See Kelvin, he tried and then he knows which part he don't understand. Okay, so I hope you guys later will try lah for this.
Okay.
Kelvin, so this part, this already have answer, right? So
Yeah.
so you understand this part of lah.
Okay lah.
Okay, so we proceed.
It's just when the exam ask the question, I might not know which formula, what if I might forget what to do.
You can refer to this PQ lah. I mean past year questions.
Yeah, I can refer. Yeah.
Yeah, can refer bah.
Yeah,
No worry.
if I know the steps, I can just follow.
Hmm.
I just afraid I miss 1 0 and then everything wrong.
Ada marka kesian tadi.
Yeah, like that.
I hope I can give marka kesian lah. But I don't know later. I don't know lah because kan it is all decided by KL because they are the course coordinator. So it is based on the marking scheme. So if they say it can be, I mean, the step can be awarded marks, then I will give lah. Because kan I cannot any marker, and I mean in Tariusi, we are very good lah actually in what conducting exam ka apakah in every process of Tariusi kan. I can say that it is a very have macam mana? Because that's why we have a 5 setara. You know that Tariusi now is 5 star in setara. It is means that it really good in any of the process. For example, in marking, even I have already. I mean, each of the lecturer after their mark, there will be a moderator to check each of the marking either it is ngam or fair or not. Okay, so it is not like I can think that, oh, okay, this Kelvin, I can see he put a lot of effort, but uh, there's a wrong here and there, and then I think I can give a mark for his effort lah. Okay, I cannot just macam shock sendiri to mark because it will be moderated by another lecturer. So nanti kalau I mark with I mean didn't follow the marking scheme, then I will be questions lah later. Okay, so that's why Taryusi is a very good lah in the process in validating. In each of its process, it can be what is the word that I forgot the word. Auto integrate kan integrated, no. Can you guys give me the word, the term? A very what we call it? What we call? Pardon?
Integrate, but
Not
in the whole
integrate.
system, the systematic.
Yeah, it is systematic and apa? The one that only like apa? There's one word, integrity. It is very Tarisi have integrity in doing any of the validation apakah it cannot simply even maybe if the lecturer don't like the student then he can give low mark cannot lah because it will be moderated cannot be lari to lecturer. Okay, so don't worry. But try lah if even though you don't really sure the answer, either it is correct or wrong, but just try your best to follow the like what in our past year questions lah. Okay, so for this one, answer. What else, Kelvin? Because we only have 20 minutes, so we cannot go through each of the questions.
Just the last.
In chapter one, chapter what? Chapter 2, 3, or 4? 2 lah, right?
Two lah, just two. The bottom parts, like there's a lot of questions there.
Oh, here.
Yeah, I don't know how. I'm not confident if I want to do that.
Oh, this one, right? I think for the chapter 2, this is the very famous questions.
I'm still not confident in doing that part.
Wait, I see first.
They're all the same lah, just.
I have given the answer for this, but this one you understand ka?
Yeah.
I think I have explained this little bit lah last time.
Got subtract and then got divide and then but the questions got add and then got multiply, so I don't know how.
Why it is divide here?
One is divide, one is subtract, yeah, and then another one is multiply, another one is add. I don't know what the procedure, if the procedure is same or not for all of them.
Okay, wait. Okay, so I think this is we have it in our lecture lah. Because I too focused on chapter 3 and 4 previously until I forgot to check this chapter 2. Although I have previously do a revision a little bit about this, but I already forgot that. So let me check our chapter 2 first. Here we get add and subtract. Now, here also we get multiply. So here also we get divide. So have you Kelvin, have you referred to this?
I refer, but the format with the
A little bit different, the format.
I'm just not confident if I want to answer. I still haven't started lah. Yeah, I just checked. I was like, how to is this like is it really how to do? I don't know. Like that lah.
Okay. For this one. Okay, so for this, what I can summarize based on what I see now. Okay, so at first, whatever you need, whenever you found a value, a floating point, it is already in this format, which is in the SEMM format. First, you need to do is you need to align meaning make its component have the same number. You remember in this part, I think I have explained this previously lah kan. In first is this one. I know already lah. Gini. Whenever you found these questions, first you need to do is align exponent. Align exponent is like what I have explained to you guys previously, meaning if like this, the exponent, you remember SEMM kan, exponent is this two number. Okay, so in here we know that it has different exponent. So to make this to have similar exponent, you have to align the exponent. Align meaning to say that you need to make sure the exponent is in the same number. So if and the above is 52, so the below also need to be 52. So how do you know you want to how to make this 52? You guys remember that I have explained this previously.
Oh yeah, got.
Okay.
There's only subtract and then there's no add. There's only subtract and divide here, and there's no add and multiply. Example.
Oh yeah, in this example, because the question is subtract, so that's why it only subtract. Meaning, it before you do any operation, the first thing you need to do is like this one lah. This two is memang the compulsory part. Meaning you need to align its exponent first. After its exponent after you get its exponent similar, after you successfully align its exponent, then baru you can do the operation. For this one, meaning to say that I think I can make use of Jamboard.
I just need more example to understand how to do like that.
But I will give you the guideline lah, okay? For this one, after you align it, baru you do the subtract. And then we see another example lah. We see another example. So that this one, it needs you to divide two number with the number above as the divided while the value below as the divisor. So whenever you divide it or whenever you do any operation with it, you can you change it in this format first. I forgot the name of this format lah. You see the name of the format. scientific format, it says here, the scientific format, when it says scientific format, it is referring to this. When it says the question is, eh, kan this one. The scientific format is this format. Okay, this format. It is the scientific format. This one and okay, so when you want to divide, you first subtract exponent and end offset. I think you can follow this step Kelvin, because this step already just follow this step if it is division. Okay, so for this one also, I will share the full answer. This is already. Okay, for this one, first it asks to add. Okay, so add I think easier lah, right? Add is easier. And then after that, another question is assume is the divisor. Divide these two numbers. Okay, so the divide process. Okay, so I think because I also haven't calculated it by myself previously, but I will share this because you said that you need a more example, right, to understand because the example is only for subtract.
Yeah, they're all different procedure to get answer one. I see. I think.
Okay, so this answer, when I share to you guys later, you can see this answer lah. Yeah, so you can see this answer. If you really don't understand, and then you stuck already, you can ask me so that I can do this exam. I can calculate it by myself lah. After that, I can explain when I uh, do the calculation by myself. Okay, Kelvin, and all
Okay.
during the revision time later next week lah. You all can ask me also lah, but don't expect me to answer cepat-cepat lah. Usually because for the working hour, if I don't have anything, then I can answer cepat-cepat lah. But usually, when it is outside working hour, usually I will be a little bit busy. But don't worry, I will try to answer as long as I see or I have time to try it by myself each of these questions. Okay, so I will share this lah. Okay, and this week also I will share another type of questions because if you see actually what I have shared you from last week until this week, we only cover until chapter 4. Another chapter I haven't shared yet. Okay, so I hope I can share with you all lah. Okay, so you all really need to go through these past year questions because it is like the bayang-bayang of the shadow of your FLOA. You can see, I mean, yeah, it is the bayang-bayang lah. You can expect this is the format of the questions. Okay, so guys, do you have any questions?
So far no.
Noel, I saw your
Uh,
name. Okay, Kelvin.
Oh,
Okay, so I will share this. I hope you guys really are Farrell and Noella. Okay, all of you lah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So far no
do
lah.
this. Yeah, I mean, I want you all to really try to answer the past year questions. Okay, so if no, then we can end now. So I have time to compile the past year questions. Okay. Okay, bye.
Okay, Miss. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
okay.